Starch is a binder. It's a binding agent. It brings things together that would not naturally be brought together. What is alcohol? Pure starch. It brings people together that would not naturally be brought together. It actually brings supposed families. Well, I should say family because the definition of family is public servant or household servant. So starch produces that too. Families that shouldn't even exist. So what else does starch bind you to? Because people will say, how will we feed the masses without starch? First of all, the third dimension is hell. So starch binds you to hell. It keeps all your pieces because you fragment. A lot of people don't even have individual children. They're not ushering in ancestors. They're just fragmenting into pieces, shattering. So instead of letting pieces die, which means to convert, rather, because nothing can die. Energy can't die. The same amount of energy that's here today was the same amount that's always been here. So when it comes to that, you're not letting the pieces of you return to their source, the true you. You're binding them to the third dimension, to hell. So they stay in scattered mode. You stay in scattered pieces, constantly perpetuating the deficit or the lack. And that's why the world is in a state of debt or using money, because money, of course, is debt. So that's just that, and when it comes to the basis of starch, of course, we're just talking about any level of starch, of course. It's the cultivars. And that's what created the cultivated people, which you have the cultures. So you have supposed civilizations built off of the starch, built off of ignorance, basically. So just a dead horse I like to beat about starch every now and again, about how it just destroys everything, destroys the kidneys, makes the kidneys swell. So, it makes your lower back hurt. So, of course, lower back is connected to money problems and keeps you in that deficit position. So that's starch in a nutshell. That's what starch is. That's what starch does. ROYALT512 at yahoo.com for the PDFs. Also, starch destroys the functions of the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is basically the thermostat of the body. It's why I love talking to people that know how to fix cars and make cars, because they really understand this. The hypothalamus is like the thermostat. It regulates your moods and your temperature. Again, temper tantrum, temperament, your temper, all that's regulated by this hypothalamus. So, which is the moon. Externally, it's the moon. Internally, we call it the hypothalamus. But this thing, when we consume starch, which is basically consuming a crystal, alcohol is just liquid crystal, basically. So, it's funny how people don't, they look at crystal meth like it's any different. It's just one's legal, one's illegal. Like your body knows the difference between legal and illegal. Anyway, that's what we have going on. We have the thermostat basically being turned off, and that's basically like all bets are off. Anything can happen because once your temperature stops being regulated, you can't regulate your moods. Anything can happen. You no longer have the control of your emotions like you once did. And it takes a lot of breathing to try to convert that crystal into life, to pass it, to get it out of the system. And of course, it's a dehydrating substance. So it's just insult to injury. And that's just what starch is. That's what starch does. Just realize that. Our Bud Vegan for the ebooks on Amazon. Check those out. There's 28. The newest ones will be uploaded tonight.